Brown. I am the president of Local 1000. I'm going to say it again. My name is Richard Lewis Brown. I am the president of Local 1000 here in the state of California. And we are the largest public sector union in the state as far as state employees for the state government, the fourth largest economy on earth. And so I'm proud to be the president. And tonight, when you talk about, quote, how do you get the bag, show you how to get the bag, and make sure you keep the bag, I definitely agree with you.
Okay, so appreciate that, man. So we hear a lot going on with over there in the union. So tell the people what you got going on. Like we want to help you fight against the atrocities that's happening against you.
So,
When you talk about racism in 2022.
and I'm glad to be here. How can people help me? First of all, how did I get motivated to get the bag? By having faith in God and Jesus Christ. And that bag was winning the election for Local 1000 president in May 24th of 2021. Now, someone said, well, how did you get the determination to get the bag? By having a tremendous amount of faith with finances that I really didn't have, but I self-promoted for many, many years to get this position. What I'm going through right now is how I keep the bag. How do I stay president? And so on February 27th, the three vice presidents tried to suspend me, which the court recently has upheld, even though I had suspended them on February 25th of this year. So the three vice presidents, they made a motion. They put a TRO in along with someone else. And the reason why they're doing this is I'm cleaning up the corruption in Local 1000. I'm being transparent. And unions across the country have a perception problem, and that's why they've been dying in the number and their amount of influence over the years since the 60s. So that's it in a nutshell. And if you want to know how you can help me, every person must understand that anytime someone goes up against the status quo, goes up against big money, there is going to be a major problem with that. And when that person, he or she, takes on the establishment the way I've been doing as the president of Local 1000, there is a price to pay.
Come on, man. So you standing up for the rights of the people, and they don't want to see you stand up for those rights.
That is absolutely right. Standing up for the rights of people.
Go ahead.
Yeah, standing up for the rights of people. And you said, well, what was one of the things that you did that caused the problem? When I was elected, I said I would not take the salary stipend. So I get paid my regular salary from the state of California, but I did not take the additional salary stipend, which was close to $50,000. Now, most people would say, there's no way you should turn down a salary of $50,000 added extra. But I did that, and I didn't allow the three vice presidents to accept the money either. I wouldn't approve of that. So that was a major problem. But that was to show everyone in the union that I am totally sincere in my service to others. And so that, quote, determination to drive for victory, to ensure that the people I represent, that their needs come first and not mine. That was a sign of that by not taking the salary stipend. And I'm fulfilling part of my campaign pledge as well.
Okay, so they say that the police, meaning all parties, should have access to the building, and that they will be who are able to perform work. So are they trying to stop you guys from accessing the building? They're trying to stop you from doing your job, basically.
So they blocked me from the building. After I had already suspended them, they blocked me from the building a couple days later, took away my email access, took away my access to spend money and to run the union, run the day-to-day operations. In other words, they've taken away my powers as the president temporarily. So the court that will have a trial on March 25th in downtown Sacramento at 729th Street, 10 o'clock in the morning, the judge will make a decision either that day or within a few days of that trial if that temporary restraining order should be upheld. And this is very, very important that people understand that I was voted in by the membership as the president with these powers to enact my 10-point platform. And for some people to say, we don't like how you do things and we want to remove you from office, this is wrong. Now, we all know in this country, when politicians get elected, there is one measure that you can get removed for. And they call that a recall. And so in our policy file, if they really dislike my leadership, they can recall me. But what they're trying to do is go around that and go about it in another fashion, and that's wrong.
That's crazy. So, so the news is not talking about all the things that they are doing, especially the racism. Tell us about the racism that you're experiencing.
So, the racism. Here's the funny thing about being in the great state of California, in my personal opinion, the number one state in the nation, even though I'm from Missouri. California is known to be a blue state, a democratic state, a very liberal state. You know, they enacted same-sex marriages. We've legalized cannabis, marijuana use. You know, when you want to be successful, you move out west to California. But yet, the union I belong to, I've had to encounter some racist, homophobic, sexist statements from our leaders, while other leaders in the union did not say a word about this. And so I won't say the homophobic, sexist, racist statement that I was told to do. I won't repeat this on your podcast, sir. But this happened back on, I believe, August 10th. And I have it, I have the text message where this person was two people were telling me to do these vulgar things. This is clear-cut racism. But this should not be a surprise because we have to understand the foundation of this country. And if you understand the foundation of this country, as great as this country is, we have some major character flaws in our foundation. And it's right here in Local 1000. And so the media here in California, most of them are quote, the liberal media, except for some of the conservative outlets. They don't want to talk because I am not talking in the fashion that they want me to talk in. When I said that we shouldn't be involved in politics, this is why those racist statements were made against me. Because I said our union should be involved in two things: contract negotiations and job representation. Because when you get involved in politics, you're going to divide your membership. And that's why half our union are non-members, because they're non-Democrats. And so this is a problem. So if you're going to, they filed the TRO, hoping that I wouldn't be able to respond to the TRO, and I'm still trying to respond to the TRO as we speak. But yes, they made that move. It was a very calculated move by the three vice presidents, along with some other leaders of Local 1000. But, this is politics within a union. And unfortunately, Local 1000 is the largest public sector union in the state of California. This is what you're seeing out in the open. Because I did not do what they wanted me to do, which was stay silent and know my place. Because I was told years ago when I first ran for president in 2015 that I shouldn't run for president. And they told me that again in 2018. But every time I would run, I'd get more and more and more votes. Because you cannot fake sincerity. You cannot do that. And so many, quote, politicians, that's all that they are politicians. I am not a politician. I am a labor leader. And so even though I fill a political position, I don't act like a politician. I'm no different than you. And I put all of my respect on helping you and your family, who are the represented employees of Local 1000. I put that on everything. I'm not here to, quote, make backroom deals like other people do, like it's been done in the past.
Come on, man. So it's crazy because the union supposed to protect you from the politics, and here they is bringing the politics into the union. So it was three members of the group that were attempting to ban, and
So when they suspended me after
They blocked them from the emails and everything.
right, so when they suspended me, I had already suspended them because they were talking about trying to suspend me on false allegations. So what happened was the lawyer at the union, the chief counsel, decided to support them. And this is all internal politics that's being played out in front of everyone. And it's unfortunate, but that's, you know, that's what happened. So she supported them and they, you know, cut off all my access. And so the staff at the union is just doing as they're told. But hopefully on March 25th, these things will be worked out with the judge.
Right.
Yes.
So I'm sure it's a code of ethics or a charter that must be upheld. So how does that work? Are they?
So we do have a code of ethics, which you would say, well, if there was a code of ethics, how did these two ladies make these racist, homophobic, sexist statements against you? Because as you know, and I know in this country, there are rules that you and I must live by, but other people do not have to live by because of their privilege. And so sometimes when you look at the code of ethics, look at our policy file and our bylaws, sometimes people will just override that because that's what they feel they can do because they have privilege. I don't have that privilege.
Yeah, most of the time we don't have that privilege. It's not meant for us most of the time. You know what I'm saying? So it was word that they tried to file a restraining order against you?
Right, so they put the TRO in, temporary restraining order, I believe on March 10th. And so the date of the court will be March 25th.
And they've been using, I see they've been using hashtags against you.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know what other hashtags are, but I'll tell you this. When we're talking about some of the racist, homophobic, sexist statements, and you said, well, when did all this really start? The day they announced on May 24th, 2021, I had won the election and beat the four-time incumbent who was trying to win for a fifth time. And she's African-American. When I beat her and beat the whole field, it was a historic election. I had to beat four other candidates, including the incumbent. The very next day, May 25th, 5 o'clock in the morning, at my residence in Sacramento, California, the police were outside my door. They had been called on a fake, false alarm, as some people call it, a SWAT call. Someone had called and said there was a woman in my house screaming. I can only thank God through Jesus Christ that the police did not stereotype me because I could have been a Breonna Taylor. But that did not happen.
Wow.
That was the first message they sent to me, that we don't want you as our president. And then when they made those racist, sexist, homophobic statements about me, then someone else on live video called me a DICK. Then I was called an MFer by someone else. Now, people say when you're the president, you're a public figure, then people can curse you and say anything they want to you. They get a pass, and it's not libel, it's not defamation. But if you try to defend yourself, then you're wrong because you're not acting the way they want you to act. Now, you and I both know that some people can score 100 on the test and be just fine. For people like you and I, we have to score 100, 110. That's a problem. That's a problem. And so, a lot of times I tell people the reason why I won wasn't just for the fact that I was going to fight for people for a 21% pay increase across the board for everyone, along with GOP and COLA. It wasn't just for the fact that we was going to stand up to management and we were going to enforce our contract. It was more than just a labor movement by electing me president. It was to inspire, as I say, inspire the impossible, to inspire other people who look like me, who have a hue, a color, a variation like me, that you can be strong and be adamant and not be considered angry. And when they say that you're angry and that you're out of control, you can say, no, I am not. I am passionate. I am determined. I am relentless. And if I was somebody else, they'd call me a patriotic American. But because I am not someone else, and and I don't have that privilege, then they deem me as being angry, as being, detached, psychologically imbalanced. And even though I have told people that my mother, Genevieve Maud Brown, put some respect on it. I am her only child. And even though she suffered from schizophrenia her whole life, these people still want to say that I have a mental illness, that there's something wrong with me. And they're not doctors. They're not psychiatrists. They're not psychoanalysts. But they want to say that there's something wrong with me because I'm fighting these people. I'm fighting the evilness within this union. So they want to deem me as being, quote, the angry black man. And I am not that. That's a racist statement for any time a black man speaks his mind with passion and conviction, whether it's Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., whether it's the Honorable Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, Rosa Parks.
I want you to, we have Dr. Jacqueline Wilson coming next, and I want you to tell the people how they can help and support you real quick before we have to get on with Dr. Jacqueline Wilson. Give them your social media. I'll also tag them in the link. But make sure that you tell them how they can support you real quick
Sure.
and why they should support you.
Well, if they believe in justice, if they believe in fighting for the middle class, if they believe that when you elect a leader who's not going to play the political games, that's why they should support me. R.L. Brown on Facebook. I'm going to say it again. R.L. Brown on Facebook. They can email me, richard.brown7437@yahoo.com. And I'll do you one better. Because some people are cash apping me because they're trying to raise money for the attorney fees for March 25th. You can text me at 408-207-2339. Text me. I'll send you my Cash App. I can't thank you enough for giving me the respect to tell my story on your podcast, sir. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you, Richard. We appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you.